Hey everyone, it's Craig here from Soundiron, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through our newest library, Knockout Drums. Knockout Drums is a hard-hitting drum sample library created in collaboration with metal drummer extraordinaire who plays in the band Entheos, and he's also played in the bands Animosity, Animals as leaders, and he's done a variety of different session work. As well as seasoned mixing engineer producer Zack Ohren, who's worked with bands like Machine Head, All Shall Perish, Aborted, and many others. For Knockout Drums, Naveen multi-sampled his Star Classic Babinga drum kit at Sharkbite Studios in Oakland, California to bring you a massive collection of drums including 7 snares, 3 kicks, and a variety of minor cymbals. We captured these drums with a wide selection of carefully chosen microphones, and they were recorded through a 1978 Trident TSM console. So now let's dive in and start checking out the sounds and features within Knockout Drums. So once you've opened up Knockout Drums and look inside the instruments folder, you'll see that there's 4 NKIs. There's the Pro High Memory, which has all of the samples and all of the articulations loaded, as well as the Standard and Light. So for the Pro version, it has up to 16 round robin, which is great for getting that realism out of your programming. And then you have the Standard version, which has up to 10, and then the Light, which has up to 4. So it's really good when you're working on a laptop and you want that low RAM footprint. And then there's also a folder for solo drums as well for kick, snare, toms, and cymbals. As well as a folder for Zack Ohren custom presets. There's 12 of these, and all of them nail a distinct iconic archetype or genre right out of the box with a professional sound that'll cut through any mix. So the main feature that you'll notice when you load up Knockout Drums is the kit view, and here you can preview all the different drums just by clicking. You can hear the different cymbals, crashes, as well as toms. You got 2 snares. Right now we got a piccolo and a brass loaded up. And then we got a 20-inch kick. So the sounds that you're hearing played back to you in the kit view are the raw samples, and they're not going through any processing, but when you're playing it on your keyboard, you're going to be hearing it going through all the processing. So here's just the raw snare, and then you have the in here you can also pitch the drum as well, so if you want to pitch it up a little bit higher or lower, you can do that. Or you can also pan as well, so if you want to pan left or right, you can do that. And then when you click this drop down right here, you'll see all your available snare options. And since you have 2 slots, if there's one loaded in the second slot, you won't see it in this drop down right here. So you have your brass, you have the brass damp, the duo low, which is a big, great fat snare sound. Really good for different genres. So if you're playing more like doom style or more like classic styles, this snare is really great for that. And then you got this maple snare, a steel, and then you also have a timbali. And then you also have 3 different kicks as well. You have a 20-inch, a 22-inch, and a 24-inch. So you have a couple different options. And then you have a wide variety of some different minor cymbals. So you got some different crashes, splashes, stacks, chinas, and a couple different hi-hats and a couple different rides. So for this drum kit, it comes with 5 different toms, and you have the 8-inch, which has a couple variations. There's the Tom 8A and the Tom 8B, and they're just tuned slightly different. One's tuned a little bit lower. And then you have a 10-inch, 12-inch, 14, and 16-inch, and these toms sound fantastic. I really love how these toms sound. When we recorded this drum kit, we recorded a few different articulations as well as some different beater types. So for the kick, you have your felt, and then you also have a wood beater. And then for the toms, we have some center hits and edge hits. So really helps when you're just throwing in a few different edge hits to kind of get a little bit more realism. For the snare, you got your center hit, edge, some rim hits, rim shot, some side stick, and you got your flams. And And for the hi-hats, you got a few different articulations from really tight to opened up. So now I want to show you the Remapper page, and this is where you're going to be customizing any of your different mappings. We also included some presets for some various other types of mapping as well. So you got the SI default, which is what we currently have loaded up, and then you got General MIDI, Superior Drummer, GGD Invasion, Addictive Drums, and then we have this SI Monster Kit. So before you really start customizing your drum kit, I would suggest that you pick the mapping for your project. So if you're currently using Superior Drummer, select that, and then head back over to the kit view, and then you could start swapping out the pieces for your kit. And then if you don't have any mapping preferences, I would suggest just using the SI default. And one thing to note is the kit view is saved with the mapping. So once you pick your desired mapping, and then you pick the kit pieces that you want, then you can save your own custom preset. And you can do that right here by clicking into this window, and you can just put My Custom, and then just go ahead and hit the save icon. And then you'll see it right here in the drop-down. Now, when it comes to how big your kit can be, you're not limited to only what you see in the kit view. So if you want to expand on your kit even more, you just head back over to the Remapper. So when you click these pages, you'll see all the different articulations. And then once you find some open ones, if you want to add some more, like let's say you want to add another ride cymbal. So for example, right now I have the 18-inch ride loaded up, and if you want a second ride, like the 22-inch, we can go ahead and add that really easily. So let's just find an available key. You'll click that. Go down here to where you'll see the different drums and articulations. So let's find that 22-inch alloy. And then you're going to see this apply. But before you do that, right here below it, you'll see the different articulations for that cymbal. So you have the bell, the edge, and the face. So let's load the edge first, and then hit apply. Let's go to the next key, and then I'm going to select the bell. Let's hit apply. And then let's load up that ride face. And then you'll see these keys appear up top on the keyboard. Your bell, and then big ol' edge hit. And then if you want to pan this ride differently from our 18-inch ride, which you can hear is a little bit more on the right. So if we want to move it a little bit more to the left, just make sure that you have it selected, and then do your panning. So next I want to talk about the sound shaping controls within the Performance tab. So right here you have your volume, attack, offset, release, pan, which we just talked about, and then pitch. So this is great for when you want to do those other controls that you can't do in the kit view when you're adding extra kit pieces. So I always like to make sure I have the Remapper open because you can see each articulation that's selected as you play, and you want to make sure you have the right drum selected when you're panning any auxiliary pieces that you're adding onto your kit. And for the Zack Ohren custom preset, you can see that he shaped the releases on some of these drums to be really tight. And this is great for when you want it to work in the context of a fast mix and you don't want your toms ringing out really long. But if you want to dial that back and just get a really full sound and let those toms breathe, you could just dial them up. So you can really hear the difference. So you can hear when you have the releases dialed all the way up, you get that really big, long decay. Or if you don't want that, just dial it back. So once you've saved your mapping, you got your kit built, you got everything dialed in, now's the fun part. So let's head over to the mixer page. And this is where you can really dive in and start shaping the sound of your drums. So it's really cool the way that we've designed this library because you have the ability to save and load effects chains as well as mixer presets. And then if you want to load any of the effects rack chains that we've included with the library, just click this folder on the bottom left and then go over here to effects rack and you'll see all the different ones available. And then if you want to load any of the mixer presets, just go over here to the bottom right, click that, double click this mixer folder, and you'll see all of these different presets that we have loaded. So depending on what type of track you're working on, we got you covered as far as different presets that you can use to just get moving real quick. And then up top, you'll see that you have your channels for all your different kit pieces. You got your kick, snare, your toms, hi-hat, ride, crash, splash, stack, and then you got these channels over here for your overheads, close, and far mics. And then for each channel, you have pan, send, and width knobs. Pan will pan the entire channel, And then you have the send. And the way the send works is that it will send over here to these effects. So you have your delay and space. Right now this is utilizing a plate reverb, so you're getting that nice plate sound. But if you turn that off, you'll see it's a little bit more dry. And then you have the width knob, which is really nice, especially if you want to widen out the sound of your snare a little bit. So for each channel, you also have a solo and a mute button, and then right below this label is where you'll do your routing. So if you want to route your kit pieces out in your DAW and have each drum on its own track, this is where you do it. And before we start talking about the different microphone positions, I want to talk about these link icons right here. And these are attached to the toms, and this one is attached to the different cymbals. And this is really cool, especially if you want to make any kind of global changes to all of your toms. You just have this link icon activated, and then if you go to your toms, let's say you want to turn on all the stereo mics, you'll see that it does that for all of them. So if we go back over here to our microphone, they all have the stereo. If I turn this off, you'll see that this one is turned off as well. So it's really nice to be able to hear all your toms change at the same time, especially if you're trying to really dial in your microphone mix. And then you can do the same for the cymbals as well. And then if you want to turn any of these microphones on or off, you just click the mic icon right here. So if you're wanting to maybe take the close far mics and the far microphones and just turn those off, this will turn them off for all of the different kit pieces. So once you have your room mic sound dialed in and you want to remove those samples from RAM, it's really easy. You just go down here to this little cache mode area, and you'll see right now I have cache samples loaded. And what that does is it allows me to turn these mics on and off without having to have them drop from RAM and then load back up. But once I have my sound dialed in and I'm happy with that, and I want to remove them, you just go right here and make sure Purge Unused is selected, and then you'll see that it'll remove from RAM. So when you want to start balancing the individual microphone positions for each channel, just make sure you have it selected. So right here I got my kick. So you'll see that you have your close mics and your room mics. So the stereo is going to be a stereo pair of TLM 103, so it has a really nice full sound. And then you got your in, then you have your sub, and then you got your overhead, close, and far mics. And then you also have these little phase buttons right here, and this is great, especially if you're working with some other samples and you want to make sure that they're all in phase. You can use these to help make sure that everything is phase coherent. So for the Zack Ohren presets that come with the library, they're only using the effects within this library, and it's great because it really makes it to where you can just start working quickly and just start programming some drums and really have a production ready mix right out of the box. So once you got everything balanced out and you want to start adding some effects, you just go right here to the right of where you see the microphones. So you'll see that you have some EQ, some compressor, some tape saturation. This is for the Zack Ohren Custom Pro preset, so you'll see that this is how he was dialing in this kick mix. And then if you want to hear how it sounds raw, you can just turn all these off. So he's just using this EQ to just really shape and get everything out that he wants from this kick. And then you got a compressor, and then some tape saturation. And then if you click this and you want to add some other effects on top, just click this drop down and you'll see that you got some more EQ, compression, a limiter, a transient master, and some more tape saturation. All right, so before we wrap up this video, I want to show you some more of the Zack Ohren custom presets that come with this library using the demo that you heard in the beginning of this video to show you the different versatility of some of these presets and just to give you a little bit more of an idea of how these sound. So let's go ahead and check that out. Alright, so that about wraps up this walkthrough for Knockout Drums. If you want to learn more about this library or check out some demos to hear it in action, make sure to go to soundiron.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on future videos like these, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care.